Hey there, Gemini. Let's talk about what 2025 has in store for you. And really, this is going to be another year of growth, change, shift, and movement forward, thanks to Jupiter being in your sign until June. This is a 12-year cycle of expansion, of growth, getting outside of your comfort zones, trying new things, experiencing new things, learning new things. And in the process, you're learning about yourself and you're growing yourself as a person. That trend continues throughout this year into June, but it's going to carry for the next 7 years because we have this opportunity to radically reshape your life and explore these new opportunities and develop these new talents that have been coming through thanks to Jupiter's influence that started in 2024. But as it moves forward, you have Uranus, the planet of radical change and authenticity, that's moving into your sign. It's never done this before in your lifetime, unless you're like 80 something watching, then yes, this has been here before. But it really hasn't happened for a majority of the people that are out here. And even if other astrological influences now are different than what it was back in the 20s. So here, right? I don't know. My math's not working right now. Whatever. It's been a hot minute, right? Since it was there. And now that it's moving into your sign, it's it's moving in July 7th and then it leaves November 8th and then it finally lands in your sign for good to stay for 8 years next year in 2026. So you're going to get a preview of what this planet of shift and change is going to be doing for you. Now, this is going to be an opportunity for you to really live true and authentic to who you are and what it is you want. Now, Uranus is that planet that takes a hot minute to go around the sun. It takes 80 years for Uranus to make a revolution around the sun, where we take 365 days, right? And Uranus is the planet of unpredictability, where all the other planets, they go in their little orbiting motion and we know when they're going to retrograde and then they do what they're supposed to do. Uranus has a tendency to go retrograde at different times. Maybe it doesn't go retrograde for as long as we think. Uranus will actually go outside of its orbit instead of going around. Sometimes it'll go a little sideways and we just never know what to expect. And as a result, Uranus takes on that energy of unpredictability when it comes to astrology. And so when you have that planet moving into the sign of Gemini, that for all of us as a whole is going to bring radical shifts and change to the areas that Gemini rules. So that's going to be technology. We're going to see major advancements in AI and medical technology, um, social media platforms. That's where we're seeing some shifts and changes, kind of like how TikTok is taking this unexpected hit. That's the influence of Uranus coming through. But when Uranus does these things, sometimes it'll dramatically take things away from us. Sometimes it'll dramatically bring things to us that we weren't expecting. But whatever these situations are, we don't expect them to happen. But in hindsight, we can always go back and go, I'm glad that happened because it wasn't working and I didn't realize how this wasn't working until it actually was removed from my life. Whether that's TikTok or a relationship, you name it. There are different things that Uranus says this isn't fitting for who you are now. And so we get these opportunities to kind of make those changes on our own. And then sometimes we don't, right? Because we get stuck in these comfort zones. Uranus comes through and it says, okay, you had enough chances, yoink. And it takes these situations and it changes us and it kind of forces our hand into making these changes that are more authentic to us. It's doing it to you, right? It's going to be doing that to you now. So you're like, oh my God, does that mean I'm going to lose things? That could be a possibility in the next 8 years, but what you're losing is the old identity of who you are, your old identity of what people expected of you. And by the time this transit is done, you're going to find that you are a new person. You're a more authentic version of who you really truly are. This is a time of getting to know what it is, who you are, and what you want. And having Jupiter behind you in this past year as well, kind of growing you, getting you to try new things, network with new people. You're trying on these different skins to see what fits you correctly. And so that trend is going to be continuing. You are going to see what this reinvention of Gemini looks like in this year. And those timeframes I said, July to November, where you're really going to get a preview of what is going to be moving forward in this time frame as well too, from July 7th until November 8th. This is where you're going to be looking to where and how you have felt limited in your life, where you felt restricted, where you feel that you have to put on a mask and pretend to be something or someone that you're not. Where is that happening in your life? You will get a preview of that, especially where it just the dynamics of that doesn't work anymore in that time frame. Where you feel frustrated, that's clues on what needs to be changed in your life. So pay attention to that. But in that process, I think you're going to be amazed at how you as a person are going to be dramatically transformed as well. So now in terms of areas of money for you, Gemini friends, Mars retrograding at the beginning of this year is really going to be making you slow down and kind of reassess where your actions have been in terms of your finances. Now, um, Jupiter moving back through that sign in June, right? um this is where the juice of it's really happening for you because you're getting this opportunity again to really have those lucky breaks and opportunities pop up for you. Now, this is that process of reassessing, reevaluating, and figuring out what it is that you do want in terms of money, how you make your money, how you spend your money, your habits around money. Mars retrograde has you looking to your actions with all of those. And then once it goes direct, at the end of February, that's an opportunity for you to act differently on these things. It also gives us that confidence and courage to say, hey, I need that raise, boss. Maybe I'm ready to tackle that side project that I wanted to do and do this, side thing, but I was worried I wouldn't have the energy. Mars is the planet that gives us that energy. So you may find that once, February comes around, you're ready to rock and roll on your own passion projects that can also bring additional income in as well. So now when we're looking at Venus, right? Or when we're looking, I'm not Venus. Oh, I was looking at my little thing here. When we're looking at love, the love sectors of your chart for 2025, Jupiter continuing through your sign yet again is going to be working on that first house of yours, but astrology works in oppositions, right? So, where Jupiter is growing and expanding and helping you to understand who you are and what you want in the first house, it's automatically going to have benefits that happen on the opposing side, and that's the seventh house of relationship. So, the more that you focus and grow yourself, the more that's going to help pre existing relationships or open up that opportunity for the universe to magnetically bring to you people that are more fitting for where your energy is now. That's a really positive thing there. Um, the Mercury retrogrades are also going to be happening in these relationship houses for you as well. So there's a lot of looking back to how communication works in relationship, maybe where you need to sharpen your skills in communication, or maybe it's on the other side where the other person, either your partner, needs to work on their communication skills. Whatever it is, those things will be coming to the surface in November when that retrograde is going to be happening for you in that seventh house, um, to really look at how the dynamics of communication work in all of your relationships. Now, Jupiter going through that second house of yours, we kind of talked a little bit about that, and I'm going to revisit this because I think relationship and, love and money all go together. There's a reason why I said that when I looked at that thing there and was thinking Venus. But as we have Jupiter leaving your sign, that's the first house for you, right? Then it moves into that second house of money and finances. So as Jupiter moves through Cancer in the coming year, this is where those opportunities for money come through as well, right? You're working on yourself over here, Jupiter's expanding you. Now you have that confidence and courage to go out and get this money that you're looking for. And in the coming year, it's going to be coming down like a windfall, right? Skills and abilities that you didn't even realize were there will surface, right? And then Jupiter is going to expand upon those. But that second house is also our house of self worth. And so that you may find as Jupiter goes through that second house of self-worth, your value system, you're going to be looking at that value system of yours and saying, what do I value now? What do I no longer value? Not only in myself as a person, but in the people that I'm in relationships with. And as you assess those, Jupiter also helps to bring people that are magnetically attracted to that. So over here on that relationship side, if you're starting to value communication more, maybe that's something that you want to work on in relationship. Here we have all of these things working together saying, I deserve to have better communication. Jupiter and those Mercury retrogrades, all of these energies working over here are trying to bring that in so that you can have a relationship that's fitting, that brings you happiness, that brings you joy. That's a positive thing that's going to be happening with that as well. So, another thing too is with the people that you surround yourself with, right? I think that you may be finding that you have found in the past 2.5 years where maybe the friends and the organizations, the people that you're involved with, all right, maybe they don't necessarily resonate with where your energy is anymore. Okay. And that's because Saturn has been going through your 11th house in this 30-year cycle where it kind of acts like quality control, I guess you can call it. And it's looking at the friends that you surround yourself with, organizations that you work for, the people that, even the church that you go to, whatever it is, the organizations that you surround yourself with. It's looking at that and saying, how valid is this for who I am now? And are there certain things in these relationships that I have outgrown? Maybe it's a situation where it goes on the other side of Saturn and it says, where do I need to set boundaries and limits with these types of people that I'm with? Maybe you're finding that you've had to constantly set boundaries, or maybe these people have a problem with adhering to the boundaries that you have set. And as Saturn moves out of this 11th house for you, you're getting a lot clearer insight um, about who you want to commit your time to. As it does that, it's also showing you as Saturn kind of finishes up this last leg of the 11th house, where you have stepped up and taken on more responsibilities in the organizations that you find yourself in. So, whether that's friends, maybe that's at work, you're starting to step up there and taking on more bigger roles than you anticipated to take on. This is where we're kind of looking at those scales and making sure that you are getting back what it is that you're putting in. And that hard work that you have put in is going to be paying off. Obviously, in all these other areas where we're saying that Jupiter is trying to bring you these opportunities, they're bringing you opportunities based on the hard work that you've put in. And especially as Saturn has been going through here, that hard work of what you're putting into other organizations, but also the friends that you surround yourself with, right? So if you're trying to network with people that are more like-minded like you, this may be a year where Saturn shows you to set limits and boundaries with the people that you kind of have outgrown and you're starting to distance yourself away from. As you do so, you're going to find people that are a lot more forward thinking, long-term goals that are more in tune with what you want, and then you're going to magnetically attract relationships with these types of people. So now, in the world of astrology, right, we have the ability to manifest whatever it is we want, whenever it is we want, right? But it's going to be stronger at new moons. And if we need to release things and let things go, the best time to do that is at a full moon. We have that every month. You can do that anytime you want. But for you, Gemini, your Gemini moons are going to be the ones that are the absolute strongest for you. So when we look at the Gemini moons this year, May 26th is going to be the Gemini new moon. This is when you're going to want to put your manifestations out there for what it is you do want. We know that Jupiter is showing you all the possibilities. And of course, Uranus is really shaking things up internally this year for you, looking for you to find freedom, individuality, and just more fitting situations, right? This is where these moons, especially this new moon, are going to help you to manifest this life that it is that you want. So pay attention to that time frame. Now, if there's things that you need to release, right? A good time to do that is going to be at your Gemini full moon, and that is December 4th. Of course, you can do these at any other time during the month as well, but these are just your moons. So the energy around that time frame is really going to be heightened for you and just a little bit more of a magical window to manifest what it is you do want. Now, next, we're going to be getting into birthdays. Now, if your birthday doesn't fall into this one, that doesn't mean that nothing's going to be happening for you. You may resonate with some, you may not resonate with others. Whatever fits, keep it. Whatever doesn't, leave it, right? But if your birthday isn't here, it doesn't mean it's not happening for you. You may very well fall into these categories regardless, right? Depending on where your chart is at. Now, if you want to dig deeper into, let's say, how is Uranus going to be transforming your life? Where is Jupiter bringing these luck and opportunities for you? I have a link below where you can get a reading with me by Zoom. We can go over your aspect specifically. And I also have another link down there as well too, if you're just intrigued by astrology in general and want to know how these planets work, how do they work with you? If you want to have it, I have this amazing little planner that I've been working on. It's a 2025 astrological planner. It says all the events for the year, and then it has day by day what the astrological um, happenings are. And it also has these really wonderful new moon and full moon sections as well for each month, where you can really get a better understanding of what that month has. And it has journal prompts as well to help you with that. So if that's something, the link's there with that. Back to birthdays. Birthdays for our Gemini people. If your birthday is between May 20th and May 23rd, the transformative planet Pluto is making a really great connection to your sun. So this is where that caterpillar to the butterfly energy is really, really happening to have you dive deep and explore the personal power that you have within yourself. Not just within yourself, but the power dynamics and the relationships around you. Especially as Jupiter kind of leaves your sign for that tiny bit of time and it moves into Cancer, that's when you're really going to start recognizing and realizing the power dynamics in family relationships and where that may need to shift and change. Also, as Pluto works with you, our May 20th to 23rd birthdays, you're transforming old habits into new habits as well. So, this is a really great year for you to be that proverbial caterpillar to the butterfly type of energy, transforming and reinventing who you are, especially with all these other influences. June 11th to June 21st, Jupiter is aligning with your sun. Remember, we've talked so much about this planet of luck and possibility, opportunity when you have the faith to make these changes and act on what your faith is telling you to do. This is a year of growth and expansion. This is a year where maybe there is more travel for you. This is where you're exploring new things and what's fitting for you and what would bring you happiness and joy moving forward. Relationships help you to develop a deeper understanding of yourself and what your new philosophies on yourself and life are. You are going to be finding that that comes through the networking that you are making thanks to Jupiter this year. But whenever Jupiter aligns with our sun, this is a once in a 12-year interval. Luck returns. You have the Midas touch. Things just go a little bit easier with a little bit of effort. That is going to be you this year. If your birthday is June 17th to June 21st, Neptune out there in the sky is going to be squaring up against your sun. And when we have the planet of dreams, but a disillusionment, it can also be making an impact on your sun in a negative way, like it is. That can be where the fog feels like it's rolling in, like you're kind of just walking around not knowing what it is you want to do. You may feel confused at times, lacking traction. You feel like you're constantly treading water, not making any progress. Really, truly, you are making progress. You just have to trust what your inner self is telling you. Neptune likes for us to go within, introspect, and look for the answers inside of ourselves. And if you feel that you're treading water this year, take a little bit of time in meditation, really focusing on what your higher self is telling you. And just know that the more that you surrender and go with the flow instead of fighting against the energies when things aren't working, you're going to find that there's a lot of success that comes from just trusting in the process. So that's everything that we have for you, Gemini, my friends. This is going to be an amazing year. Preview of what's to come in the next years. And I think you're going to find that 2026 is really the major year of transformation and change, but you're getting a preview of it this year. So I'd be curious to see what that might be. All right. Have a wonderful new year. And thank you so much for watching.